Who are you, and how would you define yourself creatively and professionally?
My name is Swaney, and I am an instructor here at Clemson. This is my 25th year I've been teaching, and during that time I taught a digital art and design class, and then also taught at the college level for 6 years at Lander, and taught a media class there. Here I'm teaching second level course and a digital imaging course, so that's my professional part of it. Outside of the classroom, I like to quilt. I like to do a lot of photography work. I love to read. But I think creativity comes in a lot of different forms, and I feel like that once you're a designer or a graphic communications person, you become obsessed with typography, you become obsessed with design elements. So whatever you do, you're creative in every part of your life. Even if you're writing a paper, don't you think those characteristics that you learn develop into all your finished pieces?
What made you choose graphic communications as your career path?
So I was gonna be a medical student. I had really great grades when I was in high school. My parents were like, "You're so smart, you need to be a physical therapist." So I went into the health science program at Clemson here, and at that point we were still doing registration with cards where you would sign a card, like sign up, go from class to class and sign a piece of paper. And I met some of the people in the health science department and decided, oh, that's not for me. Went home the same night. I was very upset about it. My dad's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, I hate what I'm doing. So my dad in 1969 took an industrial education course here, and he actually had his films and his masking sheets where he designed a couple of projects, and he had shown those to me. I'm like, well, what class is that? So it's graphic communications, 20, 30 years later. And so we came back and I signed up with the program, and I've been there ever since. But everybody in my family is very artistically creative. My mom paints, my aunt's also a painter, so it's like, I don't know, it's part of family genetics.
Why did you choose to come to Clemson to pursue graphics, and were your decisions correlated?
So I was a student here for my undergraduate degree. I took a job with a label company in Anderson, and the week before I was supposed to start. Now, I had just bought a house with my fiance. We were getting married, and like 2 months later, I found out I didn't have a job. So I panicked. So I came back to my professors here and said, what am I going to do? And they're like, well, we have a graduate program where we're teaching a class. Would you like to be a grad assistant? And I'm like, yeah, it's better than nothing. So I started being a grad assistant. Well, that happened for a semester, and I was teaching graphic communications teachers in the local areas. And I met a lot of people then. And then when that summer session was over, they had an opening here for an industry coordinator, and what I did was help raise funds for the department. So I set up flexo seminars, color symposiums, all these things, and I helped bring money into the department. So while I was here for 2 years, and you can imagine being a student like you graduated, now you're equal to the rest of the faculty here. And so for the 2 years I was here, I started working on my master's degree in industrial education. And I felt like an opportunity came along from one of the graphic communications teachers that I had taught during that summer session, said, hey, why don't you come speak to my class? And the next thing you know, they offered me a job. So that's how all that kind of happened. So then I went into teaching, and I had to get a special certification to teach. And then I was there for 24 years. Fast forward to last year. The last couple of years, I've known Miss Fox for a long time, and a couple of people who work here, I've known them just because of the graphic industry. And I've been told you should apply to come to Clemson sometime, and I told them I wouldn't do it until my daughter graduated. Morgan graduated, and when she was graduating, another position came open, so I went ahead and decided to apply. And at that time, my daughter wasn't coming here. She was going to go to another school. And so when I came on my interview, I had never planned on taking the job. Went to my director and said, hey, I'm going to go interview. I want you to know about this. I don't think I'm going to go, though. She goes, no, I think you should go. So my boss told me to come here and interview, and I did. And then, of course, the job was offered. And I turned it down, 4 or 5 times. And then my daughter at the last minute decided to come to Clemson instead of where she was currently going to be. I'm like, well, there's my chance. But I still decided to say no. I was going into work for my last day. It was like May the 10th. And I was talking to one of my best friends and said, this job, I really should take it. And I told her all the great things about why I should take it. And so when I walked in the door, I was trying to decide, what am I going to do? One of my good friends that I know, let's just pull out an app. So we looked at the 8-ball, we shook the phone, and it said, you certainly should. So here I am because I'm an 8-ball, but there's more to it than that. I love it. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Comparing your short time teaching at Clemson to your time at other schools like Lander, how do they compare?
I love the interaction with students here. I love the fact that people are paying for an education and they want to learn while they're here. I feel like I get to be a part of the students' lives as they're here for that small amount of time, and I appreciate students who are hard workers. So I really, really love it. My position at Lander is different because it's an online teaching class, and I really don't believe in online teaching. I feel like you're missing a huge connection with the student and the teacher when that happens, although they need somebody. So I'm filling in at this point. I do plan on letting that go, but I really enjoy seeing students evolve. And I think the best thing about teaching 3,400 is I get to see all different age groups of people. And also I get to see some of the ones I've already taught in 2070 come up to the next level of the class. So it's a lot of fun for me.
Have you preferred your experience here over that at other schools?
I loved my career at the Career Center. And over the years, I've probably taught 2,000 students. And I remember a good many of them. Some of them have gone to be very, very successful. And when you're a teacher, you don't see the immediate results of what you've done. It's usually 7 years, 10 years, 12 years down the road, you'll get a letter or you'll get an email and you'll say, because of your class, because you inspired me, because of the passion I learned about graphics, I am where I am today. So I feel like all the time that I spent at my other school was time well spent. But I feel like I was there for 24 years. A lot had happened. And maybe it was time for me to try something new. I don't know, new excitement, new things to do. And I feel like I got that when I came here.
Do you regard Clemson as your home, and what does it mean to you?
I live in Pendleton. I've been around this area all my life. As a child, I went to all the football games. I've watched it grow. One of my biggest dreams, one day I said when I was here before, I will come back to teach at Clemson one day. And it's like it's come full circle. And now that I'm here, I am also taking more classes, started my PhD, and I am doing that to move to my next phase of my life so that I can advocate for other people. So I have all this great things that I want to do. Whether I finish my PhD or not, it's a vehicle for me to produce the workbooks and stuff that I need to in order to get better accessibility for tourism travel.
What advice would you give to a student looking to pursue graphics at Clemson?
That's a loaded question too. I feel like the student needs to understand the technical skills that are needed for graphic communications to occur. And I also think that it's not to be looking at a checklist and go, I've got to have this my first semester, this my second semester. I think people get so caught up in to checking boxes, they're forgetting about living in the moment and learning what they're supposed to in the classes. And I think the biggest issue is kids they're on this system where they're trying to just get through life. But when they realize that they're almost finished with their degree and then real life happens, I feel like they wasted all the time and didn't experience it while they should have. And if you're not asking why when you're doing things in class, then you're not learning. So if you're just filling out a form or checking a box or pushing a button on a machine because somebody told you to, and you don't know why am I doing this, then you're in the wrong department. I feel like you should be actively engaged when you're in the classroom.